What's up? Welcome back to the Metalhead Car Show. Whilst the incredible Monterey Car Week is going on right now, Lamborghini has finally unveiled the new Lamborghini Temerario. We've done videos on this car, we've speculated about it, but now we have a lot of the official numbers, some price speculations, and we can actually see what it really looks like. And we can go over a little mistake I think Lamborghini made with this car. So let's go over a lot of the things that we know. It's be using that incredible twin turbo 4-liter V8. But unlike the Lamborghini Urus, this is a 180-degree engine with a flat plane crank, two big-ass turbochargers, and it's hybrid assisted. When we did our original video on this speculating its horsepower numbers, I think we guessed a little bit high for its horsepower numbers, like a little bit high. I honestly can't remember, but I think we guessed like 920 horsepower. But the official horsepower number is 907 horsepower. This car is looking at a 0 to 60 of 2.7 seconds, 213 miles per hour. And I think with its all-wheel drive system, that much power, and the fact this car is not going to be that big, I think guessing a quarter mile within the likely low to mid-tens isn't out of the question. But one thing that has yet to be announced is the price. Now, right now, a Lamborghini Huracan Evo in America costs about $300,000. So the speculation for this car, and this is not my speculation, but the guess for this car is this we're looking at $400,000 to $500,000. I've made some outrageous claims on markups in the past. This is not my guess, but the guess for this car is to be between $400,000 to $500,000. Going back to the engine, we know this thing's gonna be really fast, but one thing we didn't know is how it's gonna sound. Now, frankly, at first, hearing 4-liter V8, I figured it was going to sound like the Urus, but since it's a flat plane crank, and frankly, it's a completely different V8, it doesn't at all. So from there, it's like, okay, it's probably going to sound like a McLaren or a newer Ferrari. Well, it doesn't. This thing sounds like a Lamborghini, which might sound like a weird sentence, but listen to this. I have never heard a V8 sound like that before. Like, it's taking essence from like the LP Murciélagos and the Aventador, but whilst also being a V8. So this thing is super cool. And also it has center exhaust on it, which I think we already kind of knew from spy shots, but it's cool to see that it has center exhaust on it, since with the Huracans and the last generation of the Aventadors, so the fact that this thing is doing it again is kind of cool. I'm also a complete sucker for center exhaust. One thing I also noticed with the camo off was actually the door lines. One thing Lamborghini did is they actually made the door a little bit lower than both the front fender and rear fender, so it's more than likely you're actually getting a lot of natural light in this car, which I think was a really good move. Giving it bigger windows without making it look wonky. Going to the interior, I think it's a little bit bland, to be completely honest. It looks good, but also it looks very Revuelto-ish. It doesn't really look unique at all. It doesn't really look like it was designed by Lamborghini. It does very much look like it was designed by a corporation, but also it was. But I think the fact that it was designed by a group of people trying to make a car that actually works, opposed to a couple mad Italians at a barn slapping something together, is going to make it a nice place to be. So, small complaint on my part. But with complaints, I do have some kind of legitimate ones. The first one's with the front end. I think this thing had a lot of grounds to be kind of striking, really crazy looking, and I don't think it has that. It still has the Countach trunk lines, which has been incorporated on so many Lambos the past couple of years. It's kind of a cool nod back to the past. But I think the super slim headlights just look very GTA-ish, as opposed to new Lamborghini. And I think the gigantic hexagon fog lights are just weird. Again, almost more GTA-ish than real car. I don't mind the rear lights. I think the rear lights actually look really, really nice. I really like them. And I like the gigantic cutaways in the back of the car going to the rear wheels. But frankly, I think Lamborghini almost lost me with this car, because the color they showed it off in was truly awful. Like, they showed it off in this dark blue, and frankly, I like blue. Blue's my favorite color. But I think showing off this car in a very dark color that doesn't get a lot of attention, it doesn't really highlight a lot of the angles and curves and slashes in it was a awful decision. Before kind of seeing more shots of the car and seeing the car in different colors, I thought this thing looked so bland. I thought it looked so boring. And it wasn't until I saw the lime green car they've been showing off where you get to see all these slashes. You get to see these crazy cutaways and vents in the rear fenders, and just the fact there's so much going on in the rear bumper that this thing actually looks super cool. So showing it off in multiple colors kind of saved it, but showing it off in something that hid a lot of the details, I think was a big mistake. Frankly, I would have shown this off in orange, yellow, or white. That might sound a little bit boring because I think the Huracan may have originally been shown off in yellow. The Gallardo is shown off in orange. And I say this because a lot of those colors are going to be getting all these angles and slashes and whatnot. And I say white because, well, let's be completely real, 25% of the people who buy this car are going to buy this car in white. But enough of complaining. What can we expect from this thing in the future? Well, we know this thing's be coming out in 2025, which means 2024 is the final year of the Huracan. This thing's out in 2025. I think probably like late 2025, we're probably going to see the Temerario Spider. And then after that, it's going to follow in the same footsteps as the Gallardo and the Huracan. We're going to get a Superleggera or a Performante Temerario. And by then, it's 50-50. We're going to see an SV Revelto. So we're going to have some absolute batshit berserk Lamborghinis in the very foreseeable future. I wasn't planning to make this video super long, so to wrap it up, I do like this car. I think it is super cool. I find it hilarious that Temerario actually translates to Daredevil. Yeah, I like it. I think it's be cool to see them on the road. I can't wait to see what Lamborghini does with this car in the future. We know they're going to make faster versions of it, and we're starting with 907 horsepower. So I think this thing's be exciting long term. But as always, I want to know, what do you think? Are you into the new Lamborghini Temerario? Can you actually pronounce it properly, unlike myself? And what do you hope to see from it in the future? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed what you've seen. I tend to post on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and I'll see you later.